All right, let's get to the point guards that we talked about from De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, certainly Tyrese Maxey. We can mention some others, Jalen Brunson, some young point guards in this league that are really good. One of them, Derek, he got paid over the weekend, and that is Jamal Murray getting an extension. He is now right there in the range of 5 years, $250 million, I believe, overall. He got a $200+ million extension with the Denver Nuggets. And that just got us thinking about him, Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, Jalen Brunson, all these young guards that are in the league, and where Maxey, we've discussed it just a little bit of where he stacks up versus these other guys. But naturally, Derek, with the success, winning a championship, he's gotten hurt a lot. Not an all-star, but an extension for Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, and I think the Nuggets had to do that. That two-man game that they have. Tim and Jokic, backbone of their team. I think Tyrese Maxey clears Jamal pretty clearly at this point. I don't think I would even have a hesitation on which one I would take.
I mean, I would knock on a piece of wood, but
right
just
there you go.
The health alone
would be a good reason to ride with one over the other, right? Like Jamal he had the one major injury, but he's also had a lot of other nagging injuries. Certainly last year during the playoffs, he was compromised to the point that he couldn't be he's always kind of been that closing type for that team in high pressure moments. He still hit some big shots in the Lakers series in round one, but when they needed him to dial it up some more, when they needed him big time against Minnesota, he just was not there. He was not the guy that he needed to be. And I will say this, I've heard some things, I don't know how you can assess this on your own. There have been some conflicting reports and rumors about his approach over the last couple of years. And when I say approach, I mean the off season, the putting the work in every day type of stuff that we all know.
And we saw on our end, Canada too.
He showed up and look, the same kind of questions we were asking about Joel showing up for Team USA initially. How good a shape is he in? What's his commitment level here? Even louder for Jamal Murray, who never really got there. And you compare that to Tyrese Maxey, who he looks like he got like the super soldier serum this offseason. He's like taking pictures on boats with Ricky Council, flexing.
Ricky Council wearing socks, by the way. You do not wear socks on the boat. I agree with that completely.
We'll talk to him about that.
Socks on the boat.
You don't do that.
It's a crime.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Act how you want when you're out on a nice boat and think they were in Mexico, whatever.
So the weights weren't too heavy for Tyrese.
No,
they were not.
You can physically see the work Tyrese is putting in, and we've seen the results that have come from that. Where Murray has been growing this reputation in recent years as like the ceiling is high, and I think when he gets hot, he is as unstoppable as almost any guard in the league. The question now is how sustainable is that type of play if further work and further like hunger to be in that upper echelon of guards isn't there? Because if not, he's still talented enough and skilled enough to be a very good player. And he's playing off of Nikola Jokic, who he has unbelievable chemistry with. But now that their roster is getting squeezed a bit, right? Like KCP leaves, they're relying on a lot of these young, more unproven guys because of the second apron concerns.
Bruce Brown leaves 2 seasons ago.
They had to turn to Russell Westbrook, who's worn out his welcome with several teams at this point because they just don't have lots of options for veteran role player depth. Now Jamal Murray's night-to-night production becomes that much more important and scrutinized. On top of that, he gets the max contract. Like I know I troll Denver fans a lot, so everything I say about Denver comes off to a degree. It's like I'm just sticking it in your eye. But I do think that this is like a real crossroads moment for them. If Jamal Murray doesn't come out this year with like some real fire in his belly, I think things could go off a cliff for them pretty quickly, when at least relative, right? Like with Jokic on the team, your floor will be so high that they will pretty much, it's like Joel, you'll win 50 games or you'll be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But can you beat those, upper echelon teams, the ascending teams? I don't really think so if they don't get like real deal Jamal Murray.
Yeah. And look, I respect Jamal Murray a lot. Like when I say this, it's not even really to put down Jamal or his body of work or where he's at.
You said they had to do it.
There's still some concern in terms of the injury for sure. But it's more to say like Tyrese Maxey has made so many leaps that he's at the point where I feel like I can comfortably say I would take him over Jamal. It's really more meant to prop up Tyrese than it is to disrespect Jamal. It's just he's made incredible leaps.
Now in the chat though, Money Mars says, I love Maxey, but the last time I checked, Murray has carried the team to a championship.
Wow. No, he didn't carry any team
his words,
to a championship.
I think we know what the supporting cast.
He was a high level. He was a high level number 2 on their way to a championship. Yes,
on
and
that
had
stage.
a lot of big moments, and that part is fine.
Now Maxey hasn't gotten there for us to say that he can't do it, and we even saw it in this round 2 against New York where you were like, do it again in game 6 from what we just saw you do in the Garden in game 5. Yep. He hasn't gotten there for us to say that he hasn't, but then the discussion, Jay is, getting in there with him and they're having a back and forth about it because the championship is not there. The All-Star, Maxey has the edge on him there. Murray hasn't been healthy. He already feels like he should have been an All-Star, but in the West, he just, for whatever reason, just hasn't done it. Maybe it's because of the slow start. And it has been a slow start multiple seasons for Jamal Murray, partially because he comes back the same way that Luka Doncic does, where physically they're just not in it.
A little bit playing their way into
and
shape.
One can bounce back, it seems, quicker than the other. And I like Jamal Murray. I like Jamal Murray a lot. But you're right, too. In that round 2 against Minnesota, while he had, I think, one game where he really helped him out, they needed him badly, Derek, in that round 2 against Minnesota. And he just didn't do enough.
He was cooked. And a lot of that was physically, and there are certainly some injury concerns there. But, I mean, he shot, I think it was sub 40% from the field in that series, and they really needed
It wasn't even close.
No, he was bad, for sure.
And look, he also has skated a little bit more than he should have for throwing a damn heat pack on the floor in the middle of the game.
I forgot about that.
That was ridiculous.
That was insane.
If that was a player, here's where I'll troll Denver fans. If that was a player for a real team in a real market, he would have gotten suspended.
If that was here, Denver fans would have been on somebody here. Easily.
I'm just saying.
Easily they would have been on
if a Knicks
here.
player did that, they're suspended.
Bree, if you can clip that and maybe tag it Denver Nuggets and we can really get some eyeballs on that.
I'm just poking fun. But that's I do feel like that slid past a little bit more than it should have. I'm not saying lock him up type of thing, but
Don't
it's like
communicate him from the league, but we should.
I forgot about that. That was
it's
really
crazy.
bad. If somebody would have slipped on that and pulled a hamstring to lose that series or something even worse than that, that would have been really, really bad.
Also,
really bad.
I would
Regular
Money
season,
Mar
probably
is
suspended.
really riding on this
Is he?
whole.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's the number 1 option. Nikola Jokic, when they won the title, averaged 30, 13, and 9.5.
And we said Murray was really good.
The number 1 option. That's the guy. Murray was really good, and he averaged 26 and is way below the other numbers.
And games 4 and 5, he had 15 points one, 14 the other. They won both those games. Clearly,
Jokic is the guy, and Murray is a high-level late-game shot maker. There is no argument that he is the number 1 option even if you're trying to say as a scorer. It's just not true. Jokic is the guy. For as much fun as I have at the expense of Denver fans, Jokic is so freaking good. That guy is unbelievably good. And that playoff run to win that title is something that we want to see that out of Joel Embiid, right? We've seen Joel put up not those numbers because he doesn't have 10 assists a game or whatever, but we've seen Joel put up 30 and 32 and whatever per game, 12 rebounds in the regular season. We all want to see Joel do that in the playoffs. Jokic has that run under his belt. Joel doesn't. So Jokic is the number 1 option. Do not get it twisted.
Sorry, Derek, as you say, Maxey clears Murray at this point, at this stage of their careers. We'll see where things go. Year 6 or was it year 5 for Maxey? Year 5 for Maxey.
Yeah.
Year 5 for Maxey.
Yeah,
and what he does.
Big money.
Yeah, with the big money and the big reputation now, All-Star, All-NBA conversation, and getting that contract. See what he does now with Paul George on his team.
We all silly like the mayor.